Hi, this is the mini painting noob here. Today I'll be painting another knight from Shadows Over Camelot. This one is Sir Palamedes the Saracen Knight. And we'll just be finishing off his armor and weaponry. We've got a wide range of paints to use, so that'll be interesting. Let's see how Speedpaint works with a small figure like this with a large number of colors. So to start, I'm going to be putting on some hardened leather onto the belt work. So he's got a number of belts around his ankles and across his chest, going up around his back. And so we'll start by filling those in. Let's get onto it. So let's go with the coming down his back first. Using a nice small brush, I find it easier to control. So if you haven't seen my videos before, I'm a new painter. I've only been in the hobby for about a month, 6 weeks, and my experience basically extends to Speedpaint. I picked up a box and started painting my board game figures. So I'm learning as we go, and I thought I would sort of document and share the process, since this is a new product on YouTube, and I'm really appreciative of the support so far. Just over 80 subscribers as of this morning, which is awesome. So I'm just really happy that there's so much interest in this product and in a sort of new painter giving it a crack. So yeah, it's really cool. I do want to be careful with this hardened leather if I can, because the colour going on the armour, he's wearing a leather. It's difficult because he's wearing a leather armour as well as having leather work, or leather belts, and they're very similar colours in the picture, but you kind of don't want them to be the same colour on the mini. You want details to stand out, so I'm actually using a lighter leather for the armour. We'll be using sand golem, and so if I make any mistakes with this leather, it will be very visible. Just clear off the brush and see where are we up to. Alright, a bit too much pooling over here. So what I really like about Speedpaint is you get too much somewhere, you just get a damp brush and it wipes right off again. So you can come in afterwards, after a few minutes even, and fix up your work. So the very small amount of work that I've done with acrylics, it's been less forgiving for me. You can't really see under his armpit, but I'd like it to be coloured in anyway. Alright, so that's that sling around his back. He's got belts around his middle as well. So let's again start at his back and work forwards. So to prepare this figure, I did a zenithal prime, matte black base, and then a matte white zenithal. I'm fairly heavy on the zenithal because I want the Army Painter Speedpaint to be bright, to stand out. I want to give it as much help as I can from the outset. And really let the paint shine where it's supposed to. So yeah, that's my choice of primer. I've then gone in and did all of the metal work. So I've got all of the gold armor pieces have been painted a couple of coats of gold from Vallejo, and the sword blade has been prepped with the silver from Vallejo also. And what else have I done? Oh, the checkerboard on his shield, that was quite challenging and looked far too difficult to film. It wouldn't have been very interesting watching me go back and forth, a dozen times, different coats, trying to get the checkerboard to look right. So I think it looks pretty good. It's not perfect. Those lines aren't, especially when you look really up close, it's not perfect, but from a distance it is definitely board game ready. So I might do a little bit more work on it, but I might not. I've got a whole bunch of other figures I want to get done, and the whole point of this Speedpaint range is you get your figures to the table fast. So I could spend another hour on just the shield, but I don't think that's where my effort should go at this point. I could always come back later, lacquer it and keep going, and I think actually before I make any more changes to it, it does need a varnish to seal in the black, and then I could just fix it up a little bit. I slipped with this brown. This brown is kind of not behaving like I want it to. It's probably all the metallics and stuff I've got floating around there. Anyway, so that's his belt around his middle. We then move on to his shin straps. So he's got really tiny shin straps. Again, I want to be careful not to get too much brown elsewhere, or just, tidy up lines with another brush afterwards is always good as well. It's really quick just to go along with a different damp brush. Always have a different damp brush handy, or mistakes. I didn't notice before, it looks like he's got a little pouch off his shin. Or a tassel. Oh yeah, okay, so on the image, the artist image, it's actually the leather's been tied. Interesting, okay. And this bottom one is a strap as well. So I do have a image I am following. So it's 4 leather straps, and then this thing that sticks out is the leather has been tied in a knot. Across the back I don't have to be as tidy because we are doing his pants black. So it is good to be aware of the colours that are being used. So how fast can you speed paint? Well, it depends on how perfect your lines need to be. Or you can go as fast as you want if you varnish between coats. Which I'm pretty sure nobody really wants to do. I mean, I have done it with a couple of figures. I wanted to lock in what I had done. Clean up this base a bit. It doesn't matter too much because it's going to be a dark grey anyway, but tidy up as we go along. I've said before, my videos are in a long extended format. I try not to do any cuts unless I've had to get up and walk away for a bit. If you're not a fan of extended videos, I do have some shorter ones, or I might, if there's interest, do some shorter compilations. But if you want to see what this figure looks like at the end of the video, well, honestly, you're 12 minutes in, you probably skipped there by now, right? You can always jump to the end. I really appreciate your likes and comments. It's been really good seeing each of the videos I post increase in popularity. So I know I'm doing something that's interesting. This leather work, it was far more detailed than I thought it was, and once you get that paint on there, it just really stands out just how much there is, how many belts there are. I didn't even know there were 4 belts per leg until you start colouring them in. And then there's this tassel or knotted area. So we can enhance all of that, putting a bit more paint on, just making sure that all of those knotted bits have got really good shadowing happening. And then on the inside leg, the knot is on the other side. It doesn't show up as much, so we don't have to focus on that one so much. Alrighty, that is belt work done. So you guys will be glad that's over. About 15 minutes in and all we've done is belts. Speed paint isn't very fast. No, this speed paint is fine. I'm new and cautious, and even then I'm making mistakes, but that's fine. It's okay to be a noob, right? We're all learning here. Alright, so next colour, let's pop this guy down. We have Sand Golem, and so I'm going to be using that for the leather armour, so it's his waistcoat area. So let's give this a quick shake. Now we'll need probably a couple of drops. I mean, this paint actually does go quite far. I probably only need 1 drop. I'll go with 2 and see how we go. Alright, so focus, and so you probably can see it better on the back. His as a tunic, it's like layers of leather, and so I wanted a different colour to the belts so that the belts can just still be noticed. So you can see right away like how much effort was that. I should have probably started the video of that, right? That's I might do a thumbnail of the finished product so people can see what the Speedpaint can do. This might be good with the gold too, it's got that yellow tinge. One thing I found with Speedpaint is the bubbles are fine, like they will pop, and if there was paint under the bubble you will see that colour, but occasionally under the bubble there is no paint, and so you will have these random areas of your figure that has no paint on it. This has happened a handful of times for me, so you end up having to go back and do some touch-ups. So it's, when I see a bubble I like to sort of move it around, make sure that there's paint under there. And I've noticed there's another belt piece there. Let's see, so we'll do a quick test here. We'll see what happens if I remove Sand Golem. Let's try and remove it just from here. Well, we don't have to remove all of it, but so just rub a wet brush over that, so to get most of it off, and then I can come back in with the hardened leather. I think my hardened leather is drying up. Okay, no, hardened leather is not going on top of Sand Golem very well. I think I'll have to wait. Yeah, we'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll do it properly. Alright, let's just mix all that in. Make sure we've got good coverage in all of those little leather crevices. There's a lot of little teeny weeny holes and dots. I want to make sure that there's paint goes into all of them. Let's continue around the front. There's another little leather thing there. I'll fix it up later. The thing with board game minis is these shields, you can't like detach them like you can, you know, other painting videos I've seen. There's another belt there. There's belts everywhere on this guy. It's amazing the detail that the Speedpaint brings out, and you didn't even know that that was on a figure. Anyway, sidetrack. Yeah, you can just remove a dude's arm and paint that separate. I think that's fascinating. I didn't know, or who would, yeah, I've seen Warhammer and stuff played, but didn't know you guys had to build the figures. So yeah, very interesting. I've played board games, all of the figures sort of, they come in the box. I'm sort of always disappointed that they're not pre-painted. It's sort of annoying. And then, yeah, what if board games you had to make the figure yourself? Yeah, interesting. But you get lots of different options, so if you want this guy to hold a sword or a hammer or a laser rifle versus a pistol, like, it's really interesting that you can customize the figure like that. Not so in board gaming, which is fine. Yeah, it's a different thing. Right. A little bit more to go on the back. You might have noticed the scarf has already been painted. It's sort of a fail, in my opinion, on how I did that one, so I'll be redoing it. So I didn't know that holy white isn't white, and I just went ahead and layered it on. So if you didn't know that holy white wasn't white either, it's actually a very light grey, and so if you place it over just a flat white surface, you'll turn your white surface grey. And I want a white bandana, not a grey one. So I'll, I mean, you could do that and then highlights over, I mean, dry brush. That's such a small area. I'll just create a sort of a thin white wash, and go back over that. Got some under his arm here. Let's clean that up. I didn't even notice I'm getting paint everywhere. That's not actually coming off. Yeah, well, it's that arm will be black, so that's gonna be fine. Let's focus cleanup efforts on where it's needed, like there, which is gonna be yellow. Yeah, this yellow. Right. Let's pick up the crepe brush, more brown. Alright, finer detail here. He's already looking amazing, I think, but yeah, let me know what you think. What do you guys think? This guy's, how's he doing? Speed paint helping? How would you have painted this guy? With regular paints? And then a wash? Would it have been easier? Like, I'm having to really get in here with all these little circles and lines with, you know, within this leather work. I'm really having to push this speed paint around. I suppose, yeah, if you used a bigger brush, right? They give you the monster brush in in the set. You're supposed to really load it up and just lather it on, and then I guess take off the excess. That's what I've sort of seen in most videos. But you can't use that approach for minis like this. I can't just layer it on because I'll be hitting areas I don't want to, so you kind of have to use a more targeted approach. Some areas are just being really stubborn and not letting the paint sit. So probably I'll come back over this again once it's dry. I don't want the speed paint to peel off. So if you go over some of the colours with another coat before it's fully dry, it can kind of it gets like a skin and it can pull away, and you know that's expected from paint if you go over it when it's not fully dry. It happens with acrylics too, from what I found when I was doing the pigs. If I went over it, the pink, it would do weird things, it gets sticky and tacky, and so you can't go over it when it's not fully dry. So same thing with speed paint, it just has a different reaction where the skin forms and it moves around, and then you got to clean it up. You kind of have to try and fix the area where you removed it and go back over it again, or you've got to take it all off that area and start again. So you got to be careful, don't go back over stuff that's sort of already partially dry. Grim black now, so we're going to jump straight into one of the darkest colour in the range. Let's give that a shake. Alright, so this is going to be for arms and legs, so pants and undershirt. So let's start with pants, because that paint has been sitting longer. I'll just go straight in there. I think this is a really nice black. It looks real black, like the black in the recesses looks good. It's black. It's really good. So yeah, I really do like this one. So I'm painting black walls with it, and they're looking fantastic. You can add another colour to it if you want a different hue. Like I've got a wolf in like blue moonlight, so you can sort of add that to it, and you get a blue black. So it's it is really neat to do that kind of stuff. And very carefully take some black off that I got on some leather. So that's something we don't want to do. And all I'm doing is wetting a brush, taking the water off very carefully. Wiping it, taking the water off again, clean the brush, go back over it. reset, and then we can start painting again. The metallics on this guy are going to be interesting. I've done it down here too. Speedpaint can move when you least expect it. And you know, you'll put too much on. Gravity is a thing, people. And liquids move. So when you're doing a mini as detailed as this, sometimes you really do have to just put on less paint to avoid the risk of those shade pools and the recesses moving. Or it goes to the very edge. So I'm painting the very edge of, you know, between the belt and the pants here. And so what I don't want is that paint to decide by itself I'm going to jump that belt. So I'll go back over that area with another coat. I don't want to touch it again, it's looking a bit light. The rest is looking alright, and again, yeah, there's a bit in that leg there that I'll need to fix up. So let's go, and so between the back of the leg, so the front of the leg, there's the gold armour. So there's gold armour on the front. And we need to fill in between each of these straps. So let's see how controllable is this paint. At the moment I've made a few mistakes already, and I am trying to be careful. Or does this black just have a mind of its own? Oops, that was me. Yep. Let's just take a little bit off there. Alright. Yeah, is it always me and I'm just not noticing going over the lines? I know. It's very small areas here that I'm colouring in, and it's requiring a very steady hand. You're not even seeing where I'm painting now, because it's sort of right in the middle, you know, inside of his leg here. Can you see that now? And now just running over that leg. It's looking pretty good. I should probably leave it once it's pretty good. A little bit there. The sides of these, I should probably not worry too much about the sides of these armour pieces, because the colour I'm putting on them will shade as well. So we'll go over the gold with the Zealot Yellow. I want to see what that does to this figure. This is like the most gold on a figure. You know, usually you would have a couple of pieces of, you know, weaponry or something. Yeah, this guy is just covered in gold. So I want to enhance that if I can. Dropped the figure, the brush hit him. Where did it hit him? Don't know. Need more paint. It's always a battle between how much paint, the size of the brush, the control you have, area that you're painting. Alright, now I just have to do the inside of this leg. Alright, so the inside of that leg is looking alright. I would redo some of that leather work. But I won't do it yet, because I'm going to wait for this to all dry and I'll do some touch-ups later. Yeah, then he's got black shoes. Just come over and do these. Don't have to be too careful. The rock he's standing on is going to be Gravelord Grey. So it's dark enough to hide minor problems. Alrighty. One shoe. I'm really liking how this guy's coming along. He's looking really good. Honestly don't know if this is quicker than regular paint or not to get to this point. 36 minutes. Could you get this far in 36 minutes with normal paint? I mean, I couldn't. I don't think, well, not at my skill level at the moment. Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, I'd be doing the same thing I am now, just it wouldn't have any, it'd be coloured in with no shading, right? It's going to pick up a little bit of black here that's pulling. Just move that around. Doesn't matter too much that there's stuff on here. Yep, okay, cool. Alright, I think that might be pants done. Well, I'll do some touch-up work. I could try and add a little bit more in here now. Might have been long enough. kind of, not sure what's going on, but some parts of this model is rejecting paint, so I'm not sure what's happening there, particularly in this area by his elbow. You can see it's rejected the paint. So I'm not sure what's happening. This is the first time I've seen that. But you know, carry on. I'll try and go over it again later. See what's up. So it might have had an issue with the primer not drying properly there or something. I primed these guys a while ago. So yeah, something's happened. The weather's not been flashy. I did prime them on a sunny day, but I don't know if something can happen between now and then. Might be that that arm is just a different plastic. It's just the paint reacts differently to it. I've had that with a few of the other figures from this game. They've used like a rubbery plastic, and the primer didn't, well, you know, didn't adhere properly. So I've had some issues with those ones. Alright, last arm. Then we'll get on to painting the gold. Here's a white glove. It's like Michael Jackson. So I'll have to do something with that. I didn't put, yeah, I definitely didn't put on holy white on that, so I've got to figure out what to do with it. I don't have a white wash type paint that I like. I don't like holy white particularly well because of that whole grey thing. I've got black over all this now. I just add some more shade to the sword hilt. There we go. A little bit of touch up there. Okay. And a little bit underneath here. I really look at models at 360 degrees and, you know, all the way around. You know, try and find those areas that need paint. Okay, I think that's it with the black. Got a bit of a miss there. Let's come back and look at those legs. See, it's weird where you kind of think you got everything. I'm sure it's those bubbles pop and then you realise, you know, they leave a primed piece that you swear you painted. And, you know, they're now not coloured in anymore. Do that. And under here, I think we're good. Alright, yeah, we're done with the black. So let's give this brush a good wash. What kind of brushes do you use for metallics? Be interested to know. If you're still with me, let me know in the comments. Do you use cheap brushes? Your good brushes? Do you have brushes you only use with metallics? Interesting to know. At least I'm not doing metallics today. We're doing zealot yellow over the metallic. So I'll just give this a shake. Couple of drops, and there we go. Just got some on my hands there. Alright. Let's see if we can make these yellows pop. So I have no idea what this is going to do. I have not tested it. Let's go with these areas I have not painted yet today. The Vallejo gold I have some issues with as well. It's just really difficult to lay down. So you'll see in areas, I'm not sure if you can see that detail, but it's quite patchy. I must have only done one coat on this guy. You gotta do several coats if you want it to be really, really good looking. I don't know if it's all golds are like that or just the one I have. I find silver and bronze much easier to work with. But by doing this, it's kind of like applying a wash to the gold. It's filling in all of those bits that are missed, and in addition to giving it that shading. So what do you reckon? Was it too much? Well, let's keep going. It's got a bit of a belt work here we've got to get. Really makes that belt pop. So let's get, I'm going to do his hat last because I've been using it to sort of position the figure. How's that? Should pull some of that yellow out. Then he's got yellow all the way around his leather armour. So it's like a trim. He just went all out, this guy. Alright, so done shield, armor trim, his shoulder pads. So now I need to do his shin pads. These don't show up particularly well. I was not a very good painter with these. I could blame the sculpt because they don't really show up very well in the sculpt either. So I kind of laid down metallic where the shin pads are supposed to be, rather than where they actually are. Alright. Should we just paint the back of his shield gold? This guy is superhuman and can carry a solid gold shield. You always got to paint the back of the shield something, and you know, I haven't done a yellow one before, so that's new. Alright, now turban without getting yellow all over its face. Comes quite low across his forehead. And then it has this tie thing off the side. It kind of drapes a little bit down his neck here. Right. Coming to a close. For those of you who have watched the entire thing, give me your feedback. How am I doing with this video thing? The camera angles alright? Is the lighting okay? Just taking some extra shading off that around his face area. So make sure his face pops and it doesn't have gold sitting in his eyes or anything. It looks alright. Yeah, what do you think about this Zealot yellow over gold? Let me know. Was it too much? So we just have one more colour after this, and that is for the sword blade, and then this video will be done. I've got some touch-ups to do. I've got to do the white areas, which I'll just do off camera. So what I'll do is glove and his, what you want to call that, his scarf. I need to redo that. So yeah, there we go. So if you're playing the, what colour is this guy? Oh, if you're playing the black character, his base is black. This is him. So, would you know that you're the black character looking at this guy? Probably think you're the yellow character. Yeah, I was wondering if I should paint the bases the colour of the character. They used to be the character colour, and I decided I'd just paint them all grey. But now I'm wondering whether or not I should go back to putting them back to the character colours. Gravelord Grey, the last one for today. Let's shake that up. You can see a hint of power armor behind that. Let's focus on that guy. He's going to be amazing to paint. I haven't decided on a colour scheme yet. Yeah, see you later. We'll do you a different day. Okay, Gravelord Grey. Onto the sword blade. It's quite a dark. Oops, I don't know if you saw any of that. It's quite a dark grey from Metalics. I like it, but sometimes you want a lighter option. So you can thin this down with medium and it will give you a lighter colour, or there is the, if you want a kind of a blue steel look, you've got runic grey, and it'll give it that a bit more of a bluer look to it. So I do have a figure that I will be painting all of his armour that colour. I'll see what it turns out like. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try. This blade just looks awesome. It's like you can slap on that colour and it just does what it needs to do. It's much better than what's the other one I've got? Null oil. Yeah, I don't like that at all. It's very thin, doesn't do what I want it to do, doesn't go where I want it to go. In most cases when I'm painting it over blades, it doesn't even look like I've put any on. Trying to see if I've got an example. I don't really have one handy. Maybe this. So I've got a sickle here. What would you prefer? The silver sickle, which I think I would did null oil, or the, it's probably not a very good comparison because there's more texture in the other blade, but I much prefer that Gravelord Grey over Metalics. It looks fantastic. Anyway, I've got a few touch-ups to do. This has been the mini painting noob today, bringing you Sir Palamedes from Shadows Over Camelot. It was really fun to paint. I love the details particularly the leather work there. So that was sand golem on the tunic. That just brought out all of those details. Very, very cool. Might be a little bit too yellow overall. He's kind of a dark and boding character on his sheet here, so I don't know if I represented him well. He probably needed a darker leather. I opted for a lighter leather. Maybe the wrong choice of so many yellows going on with the gold. But yeah, I do like all of those details popping out. Oh, we've missed a piece. Missed a piece. There is gold right here on the front of his tunic. He's got a gold clasp. I didn't even put metallic on it. Oh, there's a non-metallic metal. Little button. There we go. Finishes him off for today. Anyway, so this has been the mini painting noob, bringing you, what's his name? Bringing you Sir Palamedes. Here we go. Super fun to paint. I hope you will like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'll be doing the full Fallout series and Clank Legacy with all the expansions. So if you want to see any of that content, please subscribe, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. Signing out for now, and always remember, it's okay to be a noob.